So, a game jam? You wanna know how to win? Well, too bad. Look at this. We've been working pretty hard on our main project, Bound, recently. We were feeling the burnout after implementing multiplayer really hard. So, a game jam. More specifically, the Cosmic Horror Game Jam, number 3. We decided to participate.
Hold on a second. Back up. Bound? You haven't heard about Bound? Bound is our free-to-play multiplayer prison escape game. It's on Steam, so wishlist it.
Now, to any of you who are not aware out there of what a game jam is, I will let my colleague here explain it for you.
So basically, a bunch of people make a game fast. The people play game fast. Judge game fast. Good time fast. Good games.
Now that we're all on the same page about what a game jam is, let me explain how we went about losing one.
So it all started with me doing what I do best. Him the f*** off. Hey, I signed us up for a game jam. Oh yeah, and we have to submit it in 7 days.
Alright, well, we're doing this now. It seems we're doing this now. Alright, well...
Now, the key to any good horror game is good monster. So I went deep into the bowels of my mind, not a place you want to be, and I conjured up this. This was so good, we decided to make it the player.
Since our main project, Bound...
You don't know what Bound is? Bound is our free-to-play multiplayer prison escape game. It's on Steam, so wishlist it.
Since Bound, our main project, has this little system that allows active ragdoll simulation that I implemented, I'm just gonna go ahead and yoink. So you might be looking at this thinking to yourself, wait a minute. This seems vaguely familiar. Well, carrion. More specifically, the main mechanic being the monster in the horror game. Copy. So currently, the player only has about 3 options of moving around, pressing the A and D keys to move left and right, respectively, and jump. Also, if you hold the spacebar, being able to jump higher. But this felt really good, but pretty basic. It was good, but basic. Introducing the grappling hook, a new mechanic in order to spice things up a little bit. Now, I'm gonna be honest, adding this was a total pain in the butt, but here it is in action.
This was cool. Grappling hooks, cool. But you know what would be even more cool? Grappling hooks, but reverse.
I'd really like to reverse grapple you off a cliff. Oh well, I'm sure adding all of these won't cause me any troubles in the future.
Objects. Tile map.
So what good is it having a monster dude, but nothing for him to monster? Introducing Victim. We decided to rig these guys with the active ragdoll system as well. Obviously, it only made sense. And he's a distinguished scientist. As you can see, distinguished here to make some distinguished analyses about the current situation. But nerd! Being a scientist also means he's completely defenseless. I even added the ability to dismember them, or in other words, tear them asunder. Asunder. So, game over condition. Obviously, the game needs to separate all of the casuals from the elite gamers. So, we added Chad, this dude. And he's here to steal your girlfriend. This guy also uses our active ragdoll system. But what's unique about him is that he actively shoots at the player, actively tracks the player's position, and also actively... obviously.
By the way, bullets, pretty good.
So, at this point, we had 2 days left, and basically I had been bashing my head against this grappling system, spending the last 4 days bashing my head. I made a few levels for testing for the grappling system, but it was now time to start moving towards actually finishing the game.
I started working on decorating the rooms. Basically adding lights, basically adding some objects, basically just to kind of make it look more like a room and less like a... not room.
At this point, I was basically speedrunning level design. And the fact that we used fixed cameras was increasing the efficiency of speedrunning. This also allowed for some pretty interesting level design, pretty interesting rooms, and rooms that were more mechanically driven would be larger, where you could experiment with the mechanics of the game. And rooms that were pretty interesting and that were meant to teach you some fundamental part or just show off a little bit of the graphics would zoom in closely so you can notice everything.
Oh my god, why did I make this? It's so disgusting. Maybe we shouldn't make small rooms.
Now that we had most of the important gameplay mechanics and assets out of the way, it was time to start adding some particles.
We decided to use particles to enhance the gore. So I just went to a morgue and started chopping, went ahead and made some gory particles.
Speaking of particles, this room looks pretty great with all of the assets and lighting strewn about, but static. Kind of. Well, an easy solution to this is just to add a couple of particles here and a particle there, have them move around a little bit and linger before despawning, and boom! Particles. Now at this point in time, we were really running short, but we at least managed to implement the last few levels on time, as well as implementing the last few game mechanics such as the player's health, and grab was actually reacting in the way that you'd expect it to on time. And finally, after spending the last 48 hours away,
I don't have a sleep pattern or whatever call it anymore.
And with only 3 hours left to upload the game, we sent it to itch.io on time, and thus began the grueling wait for the host to review the game. Now, waiting for the game to be reviewed was... We felt pretty good, however, that our game would really stand out among all of the other walking simulators, horror games, before the actual host got around to it. A few people actually played the game, and people were receiving it really well, and only had a few points about issues with audio or other smaller things. The general consensus was that really good.
We're feeling on top of the world. Absolutely nothing could go wrong.
After a few days of vigorously stalking the host and loads of anticipation, it was time for Asunder. 1 hour and 13 minutes into the video,
That's a weird looking guy.
it was finally time. All alarms were racing, all hands were on deck. It was time for our moment in the sun. Except, it wasn't.
Keeps crashing.
So yeah, that's how you lose a game jam. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, so this bug that the host experienced and a few other people, I'm pretty sure what's happening is when the player is inputting movement keys, there's an invisible cursor that is scrolling through UI. And when the player hits the spacebar, it clicks on the button, essentially making the game quit. I only managed to replicate this bug once, and in my case, the game didn't actually quit, it only restarted, and that's what got me thinking about the UI causing the issue for this. But man, does that hurt. Ow.
So the game jam was a bit of a failure, ranking only 53 out of all the games.
Ow.
But not a complete waste of time. I learned a lot about improving my art style, and he also typed some stuff, so...
In my typing escapades, I did learn a few new techniques that will end up being very useful in our main project, Bound. Although...
Whoa, hold on a second. You haven't heard about Bound? Bound is our free-to-play multiplayer prison escape game. It's on Steam, so wishlist it.
Although the host wasn't able to play the game, there were people that did, and not only that, they ended up enjoying it a lot as well. And that's what it's really all about.
Someone even posted a video on YouTube playing our game. So we're gonna sue him.
If you happen to be interested in giving Asunder a go, you could follow the links in the description, or you could just go to itch.io and look up either Asunder or us. If you are interested, you'd be happy to know that all of the known issues that have been reported to us have been fixed, and we've also increased the performance of the game by a whole bunch. And also, if you're interested in any of the things that you saw in this video, maybe you should consider liking and subscribing. It really does help out the channel a lot, and it's free, so do it!